Don't you just love the look of this mock crochet? It's also called the diamond lace stitch or the figure 8 stitch. It's so pretty, but it's really hard to make a shaped top or decreased crown that's nearly invisible. Well, I have with this hat called the boyfriend hat, and you can make one on your hat as well and maintain this beautiful pattern and decrease it as you go all the way up to the very top. So today we'll be making this decreased portion. You could also use this for making a top-down bag as well. So today we're going to work on shaping the top or decreased crown here on GoodKnit Kisses. Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. This video is the last in a series for the boyfriend hat and learning how to make it. You can get the pattern down below at our blog, and you can get a PDF version without ads as well if you'd like that. And we also have the videos that are available in the series. We've got casting on, clockwise and counterclockwise, as well as the main stitch pattern. And then we have it measuring to see how to measure on this particular loom because it's a little bit harder, as well as changing the color on this stitch pattern. So now we're just going to be working on shaping the top. Of course, we also have this on the All-in-One loom as well, so be sure and check that. There's playlists for both of those as well. First things first, I do want to say I did not do this in my other videos, and I have taken my yarn and instead of pulling it from the outside on the side, I have actually put it down through the middle, and so my ball of yarn is coming out from underneath this hat, and it's been really nice for every time I turn it, so I can just pull my yarn through the middle here, and I'm not having to struggle with getting the yarn caught on the X shape of the pegs. So that's great. Okay, you're going to need 7 stitch markers. You can use 8, but I've already got the first one that's clearly marked, so we're not going to need that. And of course, you're going to need your loom tool. We're going to mark every 7th peg on this particular size. If you're working the women's size over here, then you'll need to mark every 6th peg. So on the X loom, it's really great, and the directions have a little bit more information about moving stitch markers, but you actually don't have to move any stitch markers around, just stitches on the X loom. On the other loom, you will actually have to move stitch markers around during making it. So this is actually easier. So the way that we're going to count it is we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we started with the starter one, comes all the way down to here, and you'll notice that the next time we need a stitch marker on a 1 peg is going to be on the slider. So all 4 sliders get a stitch marker. So you can go ahead and just grab one now and place it on all of the sliders. All right, and then after that, what you want to do is turn your loom and count to 7, and all these middle pegs are going to work. Now this is on this 5/8 gauge. If you use the 1/2 or the 3/8, you'll have to figure out those numbers for yourself. You do divide the loom into 8 sections, and that's what we're doing. I'll talk about that in a minute. So this one's, when I start here on the slider, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so this middle peg here is going to be lifted off, and we'll put a stitch marker on there, and then push this down. Okay, so that's ready. All right, so you're going to continue putting these on, and while you're doing that, I'm just going to give you a little bit of note about how this is divided up. So you can see that the X has 4 nodes. There's these legs on either side. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the middle point to the middle point of a node and breaking it up into one section, and then the rest of it is a second section. So I'm actually making 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm dividing it easily into 8. All right, so continue placing your stitch markers, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, so we've already got the part of the pattern where it says to divide into 8 sections. We've placed our stitch markers, and now we want to move on to round 1. I've got my yarn coming from the very last peg in the very last round, and I know that I'm at the right length. So I've already worked around peg 1 and then the last peg in order for the yarn to be coming from the last peg, and that's due to this stitch pattern, of course. Now we're going to come around and do one more set. So we're going to come around on peg number 2 and go around peg number 1, knitting over. Okay, and then we're going to stop and do some moving around. So we're going to pick up peg 2, and then we're going to hold it and pick up peg 3 and place it on peg 2. Just like that. And then now put peg 2 down. Now we're going to move our remaining stitches inward, including peg 1 for the next section. So we're going to pick up what's on peg 4, and it will become peg 3. Pick up 5, put it on 4, 6 to 5, 7 to peg 6. Okay, and now I want to move my slider, so we're just going to loosen up this wing nut and slide it on in and tighten it. And right now, don't worry about this peg sticking out so much. That's peg 2 on the next section, and we'll deal with that then. Now we're going to continue working the diamond lace stitch, or DLS, on the remaining pegs in this section, and then when we get to peg 2 here, we're just going to work both of them over at the same time. So wrap around peg 3 and then wrap around peg 2 and knit both of them over, and then we move on. Just continue by working that same stitch pattern. Go ahead and work peg 1 and the last peg to continue this section. And now we're just going to repeat what we just did here. So the next section, we're going to work peg 1 and 2 in the diamond lace stitch. So we just go wrap around peg 2 and peg 1 and knit over. Okay, and we're not going to worry about this part because it's going to shrink up in just a moment. So now on peg 2, we can put it right on top of peg 3 because we never had to actually move this one around. Okay, so normally we were picking up a 2 peg and then moving the 3 on top of the 2, but because this is so far out, we actually don't need it at all. So we're just going to place it right back down, and now you can actually take this slack and just pull it, and you can see that now it is a tighter stitch and you're ready to continue on just as we did before. So I'm just going to turn this, and then we're just going to work the next peg, which is 3 and then 2, working 2 stitches over 1 and the diamond lace stitch pattern. All right, so I'm just going to continue this on. I'm going to repeat it one more time, and then I'm going to have you work on yours. So just continue this pattern. The nice part is now you don't have to move any stitches every other section. Okay, we're on the next section. Remember to continue going. You're going to work peg 2 one time before you do all the moving around. So we're passing peg 1. Once peg 1 has been worked both times, you have to work it once to get the working yarn to the last peg, and then you have to work it a second time to get it behind peg 1. So when the yarn is behind peg 1, that's when you start moving things. You pick up 2, move 3 onto 2, place 2 back down, okay, and then you want to pick up the next stitches and move them all down. And if you need to, you can move this one down before you start moving those, just in case it's a little too tight. So we're just going to move this on. All right. And then you just continue on with that pattern and shrink this one in. All right, pause your video. I'll meet you here just to show you that second section one more time. So we're at the last peg on the next section, and we're just going to go ahead and go around 1 and 2. And it's really big back here, and that's okay. And then now you're just going to pick up 2, put it on 3, and pull out the slack. Okay. There we go. And then just continue moving on. Knitting 2 over 1. All right, so go ahead and finish this round of decreases just as you did. Pause your video, I'll come back and give you the next step. See you soon. Okay, so you finished one decrease round, and now you're just going to work round 2, which is working the same diamond lace stitch all the way around, no decreases. We're just maintaining the height of this stitch here. So we don't want to keep doing decrease rounds right on top of each other. So just continue all the way around, pause your video, and meet me back up for the remaining instructions. See you soon. All right, so you finished round 2, and now we need to repeat round 1 again. Now in the pattern, I show you what your stitch decreases are, so you can observe those as you go, but it's the exact same thing that you did earlier. I'm just gonna repeat just this one first section just to remind you what to do. You're gonna come around and work pegs 1 and 2 just as usual, and then that's where you start moving things. You pick up 2 and move 3 onto 2. Oops. And then replace 2 back on 2, move all your pegs in. So all these stitches to the end of this little node, and then stop moving them, and then move your slider, and then continue working these stitches all the way down, and then move the next section. So that's it. Continue repeating that on both sizes of hats until you have 16 stitches left. Your slider will be way down here, and you need to make sure and make the very last part really tight because it's going to be very close to this opening here. All right, pause your video and I will see you then. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of where I'm doing another decreasing round down to 16 stitches. You can see how tight it is on all of these other ones. There's no other literally place to go. Let me flip it over and see how close these are on the back. So we can't go any further in or they will come off. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how I'm doing it just in case you may have lost track. It's a little different looking back here. So I had already moved this peg over, and I'm just going to finish this node, work on my last decrease on this part. So we're going to pick up, whoops, I'm going to knit 2 and 1, and then we're going to pick up 2, move 3 onto 2, put 2 back down, go ahead and move in this wedge here. Don't push too far or it'll fall over the edge there. And then go ahead and work pegs 1 and 2. They're now next to each other. Okay, and then you're just going to work these last 2 pegs here. I'm moving this stitch over, 2 on top of 3, and then you're just going to work these last 2 pegs here. It's really the last peg and then the number 1 peg from the very beginning. Okay. Right, so we're down to our last 16 stitches, and on my women's hat I knit 1 more round and then pulled all the stitches through to finish it off, but you could take that off. It was a little pointy for a while, but once I blocked it, it was fine. I'm going to go ahead and take this one off here, and I don't think I'm going to need any extra length. Now, if you wanted to make this into, say, an elf hat, you could totally do that here. You would just continue to work that stitch, the same stitch pattern, and then you could even knit over some of these and make it down to, say, 8 stitches if you wanted to, and make it even smaller, or transfer it onto another loom that was even smaller, like a small round loom. Whatever you want to do is up to you, but for this pattern I'm going to go ahead and cut a long tail just going all the way around. And now we're just going to take all of our stitches off. We'll just weave this last part in with this tail here. So we'll just go up through these stitches and pull them off as we go around, and just take them off one by one in the round. Pause your video and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I pulled it through all my stitches, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull it on tight, and you can see how it just cinches up. It's just like this one over here. It's just that this one had an extra an extra round. Now it is a bit oddly shaped since the this loom has a kind of an odd shape. It will block out. Like this one, it looks very curved and nice and normal. And that's just because I just kind of played with it, and then I left it on like a styrofoam head for a while. So you can go ahead and block these. I've got some instructions down below linking to how to block, but for a hat, once you use your normal blocking for washing it and squeezing it out into a nice dry towel, you can just kind of put your hand in here and kind of flip it around a few times, let it lay flat, and then come around every time you pass it in the house, maybe like every 30 minutes or an hour. You can just kind of do that again, kind of like you're stirring a pot here, like that, and then let it lay flat. It just gets a little bit of an air. It kind of pulls out the stitches for you. You don't need to pin it or anything. And then this will block out. So as far as tying in the ends or weaving in the ends, you can just kind of pull your strand right on through. Pull it to the inside, and then you can tie a knot and leave it, or you can weave it around your stitches here. I suggest if you're going to weave it around, you're going to need to follow the stitch pattern like this, okay, and then find another spot to weave it around that follows the stitch pattern. You don't want to go where you're adding an extra stitch that crosses in one of these holes, and you just go around a few inches and then cut off your tail. You're going to do the same thing here. Now when you get to the this accent band here, I just kind of pull my stitches like that until I find that I think that they look good on the other side, and you kind of hold it. And you'll see that it kind of draws in that little jog there, and it works really well. So kind of find what works best for you. And then this one, you just kind of pull them in the opposite, and then you're just going to weave this tail in, grabbing a stitch here and then kind of pulling it that direction and weaving in those tails like that. Just kind of follow where the yarn would typically take you, but put the matching color on top of matching color. And that is it. So I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial for the boyfriend hat and the decreased crown. Let me know if you use this decreased crown method on any other hats down below. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.